Let's have a look at the BP Ultimate Grid for race number 2 of the BNT V8s. Angus Fogg starting off the pole alongside Kane Scott. Go back to row 2, Craig Baird and John McIntyre.
We can get filtered back through to Jason Bargwanna, Andy Boothie. Boothie coming off an absolute sterling job in race 1. Andy Knight and Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah, Andy Knight, one of the biggest movers from 19th to 7th. Paul Manuel alongside John Penny. Penny with a good run there. Martin Short and Eddie Bell make grids 11 and 12.
Then go back to Nick Ross and Timmy Edgell. Of course, Timmy being the result of turn 3 on lap 1. They got filtered back through. William Bamber and the man we just spoke to, John Hepburn.
And to complete the grid lineup, Simon Richards and Andrew Anderson. And the final car on the grid, David Hopper and the number 33 Holden Commodore.
Bring it on.
Angus Fogg didn't get a great start at the beginning of race number 1, race 2 for the BNT V8s from the juiced up 200 here at Timaru International Motor Raceway. Jason Bargwanna sitting there in the 3rd row. Fantastic sight. Let's go racing. The charge down into turn number 1.
Oh, Bargwanna in the back of Craig Baird's car. It's allowed Johnny McIntyre to get inside him.
They're all side by side. Scott Kane to the grass and Fogg on the outside. Bargwanna and Daniel also going wide off too. On board with John McIntyre. So it was all very, very busy down through 1 and 2. But I think the majority, if not all of them, have got away with it.
So far, you have to say, a bit of a scrappy turn 1 and 2. We expected that here at Timaru. Andy Knight on the grass. He can't stay there for much longer. That we do know he's inside of Jason Bargwanna.
Wow. Beard, 3rd ahead of John McIntyre, trying the crossover.
No, nothing of that.
McLaughlin, where's he come from? He's got by Jason Bargwanna.
Well, Bargs and Johnny McIntyre actually got together on turn 1 and 2, and that's probably why we've seen him get filtered through and the other guys taking advantage.
With Kane Scott, Craig Baird, John McIntyre. Foggy's got the race lead, survived a little bit of contact because Kane Scott ran down, just had probably 2 wheels on the grass down through 1.
Right there, first Commodore, Andy Booth positioned in place number 5. Scott McLaughlin, another Holden in 8th, and we go right back to Paul Manuel, back to 9th.
End of lap number 1 of 12. Fogg, Scott, Baird, McIntyre, Booth, Knight, and Scott McLaughlin.
Oh, look at that, Andy Knight just mothering the curbs. Boothie made a bit of a mistake there. Nothing will come of this.
McLaughlin.
They're getting impatient, aren't they? You can just see this unfolding right now.
Yeah, they need to get it done and make passes when they can as early as possible. They start to stretch out. So the championship implications, Angus Fogg looking to extend further with Craig Baird back there in the 3rd spot. Booth try and hold off Andy Knight, who's got great car speed, set the 3rd fastest lap in race number 1. Behind Kane Scott, he set a new track record here at Timaru.
Just keep that car circulating. He's a very smart man, this Andy Knight, very level-headed, so he'll know when to take his moment. Oh, Scott McLaughlin just on the throttle. Unfortunately, Andy Knight was right in front of him.
Knight having a look at Booth on board. This is right on the left front bumper of McLaughlin's machine.
One thing we've seen from Scott McLaughlin now that we haven't seen in the previous races, he's getting racy. He's starting to give these guys a bit of a love kiss every now and then to remind them that he's there. He's taking the aggression to these guys. Good to see, all part of his development.
Well, he's jumped ahead of Jason Bargwanna, who finished 5th in the 1st race. Back on board with McLaughlin. Booth just maybe holding up Andy Knight a touch. They're losing track with the top 4. It's Paul Manuel, John Penny, who's having a really strong weekend in the Penny Homes Ford.
Currently 10th, yeah, he's probably his best consistent showing all season, so he'll be happy to be in 10th place at the moment. Timmy Edgell back to 13th, he's making inroads, considering that he got knocked back to the back of the field in turn 1 in the race 1.
Yeah, Edgell with a 14th place finish in the 1st race, having got turned around in that sort of opening exchange in the first few corners. John McIntyre, he's lost a little bit of ground in the opening laps behind Craig Baird.
Speaking of Angus Fogg, he said his car was absolutely blistering for the first 2/3 of the race. Then it started to suffer and Kane Scott come on song. So if Kane can live there for the next 3 or 4 laps, you have to say he looks the stronger package at the moment. Oh, Andy Knight down the inside of Boothing, nothing will come of that.
A little bit of contact off the exit though. McLaughlin's got a great view of this battle.
Yeah, it's starting to get a bit scrappy.
Still Fogg, Scott, Baird, get back to McIntyre, another get back to Andy Booth.
You hit the nail on the head before, Jamie. It looks like Boothie's probably just slowing these guys down enough. It's allowed the top 4 cars to get away, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars all in this battle for 5th place.
Well, if Boothie's set up to be better later, it's hurting him here in the early laps. He's losing a 2nd a lap to the leaders. Angus Fogg has gone quickest with a 106.751. Kane Scott at a 106.817. Baird 106.894. Johnny Mack is not in the 6s yet, a 107.1.
After that, then you almost got to go back a whole second. Andy Booth on a 67.9. So his top 4 cars are certainly making it look a bit easy at this stage.
On board with Kane Scott. There's Angus Fogg. That's how close they are for first and second. Fogg can't afford to make a mistake here because Scott and probably Craig Baird certainly are close enough to seize the opportunity.
You're right, we saw that race on with Paul Manuel. He just hesitated for a minute. Unfortunately, one car went through, 4 or 5 took advantage as well. And you're right, if Angus Fogg does make a mistake, it's allowing both those cars to take the opportunity for the position.
On board with McLaughlin, who is in the 7th position. This is 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th with John Penny. I think Beardo had a big look at Kane Scott.
Down the inside. Now, Kane's come over. That is the only move, and saying that he's actually coming back over to the track, just letting the car drift again. Craig had a look on the inside. Of course, it's not, you can look on the inside, but you've got to get a clean run off turn 3 because it comes onto the straight. So obviously just throwing a dummy at Kane Scott there, nothing come of it.
Well, Craig Baird can see further points loss here to Angus Fogg. The difference between first and third is 15 points. That would take the championship lead out for Angus Fogg to 20 points. On board with John McIntyre and the Blackwoods Pikels.
Now look for the run down the inside here of Craig Baird. No, Kane Scott comes across to defend it. What can Craig Baird do here? Not much.
Don't go away. We'll be back with more from Timaru.
Scott McLaughlin down the inside. Booth, you would have learned from a couple of laps ago.
Yep, definitely covers to the hairpin down to first gear in a BNT V8. Short shift to second to 7. Boothie's not too bad out of that part of the course. He actually gets away there from McLaughlin. So Angus Fogg with a 1.2 second advantage. Majority of the top 6 are lapping pretty similar lap times, 107.1, 107.1, 107.3 for McIntyre.
Yeah, interesting as well, though, that Nandy Light's been released. He's done a 107.4, so he's only 1/10 of the car in front, which is Johnny McIntyre. So Andy Booth was obviously struggling a bit for longevity in that car and was just holding him up a little bit. So now he's been released, he can forge ahead.
Yeah, Knight's just done his fastest lap, as you said, Mark, at 107.485. Still the fastest lap of the race at 106.751.
Or now dust in front, actually. What if that was one of the 4 cars in front? Maybe have a look.
Yeah, it was a fair way. It wasn't 90 that maybe dropped a wheel off ahead of Boothie.
It seemed like Andy Knight actually drove through it as well, but they all seem to be line astern. There's no colour on the side of the track, which means a car spun off, so maybe just someone just kissing the inside curb somewhere. Scott McLaughlin. Oh,
John Penny.
Wow, gosh, that's
out of 10th. John Penny in the tyre wall of the Penny Homes Ford. Was battling with Paul Manuel, much short for the top 10, and that's a pretty solid impact.
That's a huge hit, Jamie. Ford. Main thing is you'll see JP getting out of the car there, just probably switching something off. Bit of a fire extinguisher in his hand.
Oh, here's the peak replay. What happens here? Oh, he's done it all by himself up to the hairpin. That's odd. Under brakes, has he maybe had a brake failure? Or has he just got off the racing line?
He's just gone, it's almost like the throttle or something jammed because the car made no attempt to de-accelerate except when it hit the tyres. So, yeah, like you say, hard one to call.
Well, there's only a couple left to go here.
Now, that's Scott McLaughlin being filtered back through, having inside of Paul Manuel to readdress the position.
Yeah, he's in behind Barguana, so that position's definitely changed. McLaughlin.
Right, here's yellow flags, so they won't be able to do any passing here because of the John Penny incident.
Oh, what's happened to Scott McLaughlin while we were watching John Penny go off and the subsequent replays? So the race had sort of settled down. It wasn't too much going on, and come inside the last 2 laps. Now the last lap brought out for Angus Fogg, so they are not bringing out the safety car. Foggy's got this under control, looking to extend his championship lead by a further 15 points over Craig Baird. Foggy just doing a masterful job in the LG News Talk ZB Ford.
I wonder if there's a bit of oil on the track. That's what caught some of these guys out, because Johnny McIntyre last lap time a 108.3, so he's almost 1.2 seconds slower than the lap before. Perhaps there's a bit of debris on there that we can't see. Scott McLaughlin obviously struggling sometime for straight line speed because he's getting...
Yeah, he's got a mechanical issue because Eddie Bell and Tim Edgell are both going to motor on by him. So McLaughlin just falling back through the field in the last couple of laps.
Tim Edgell in the background.
He's gone around. Well spotted, Mark.
You could just see that he was just running out of room, too much rear brake on the car. He had nowhere to go, and the best thing he could have done was spun, otherwise he was going to go probably through the back of Eddie Bell's car.
Well, Angus Fogg looking for 2 from 2 for the weekend to extend his championship lead. He was 10 down on Beardo going into the round. He now leads by 20 points. Fogg takes the victory in race 2 in Timaru. Kane Scott second, Craig Bird third, John McIntyre in fourth. Fifth across the line as we've got McLaughlin going off in the last lap. Andy Knight getting through to fifth. So the Super Cheap Auto Holden going off on the run down to the checkered flag.
I'd like to have a look at that because I think he's been assisted actually there. I know one of the guys knew he was going to be wounded and was probably trying to take advantage and maybe took the inside of him and just pushed him wide. But well, take nothing away, Angus Fogg showed a clean set of heels to Kane Scott and Craig Baird just to extend that championship lead. Well done, Angus.
Win number 3 for Angus Fogg. Here's a replay. This is McLaughlin and Edgell. Just as you said, Mark, just looked like he locked up a brake. I don't think there was any contact made there.
No, none whatsoever. Just actually Timmy's own doing.
So Timmy Edgell with a troubled weekend. Andy Knight in the 5th position. Andy Booth in 6th. It's all Angus Fogg for race number 2. Angus Fogg with the victory, 1.1 seconds clear of Kane Scott. Craig Baird in 3rd, followed by John McIntyre, Andy Knight, Andy Booth, the first Holden Hone in 6th from Jason Bargwana for Manuel, Martin Short and Eddie Bell.